First contact. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before Captain Elara Chen as she guided the Earth Alliance vessel Horizon through the uncharted regions of the Andromeda Galaxy. The ship's sleek design cut through the cosmic void, its advanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to conventional scanners. Elara's mission was clear: explore, observe, and under no circumstances interfere with any alien civilizations they might encounter. As Elara ran her fingers through her short, dark hair, she couldn't shake the feeling that this mission was different. The Alliance had never ventured this far into unknown space before, and the tension on the bridge was palpable. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Marcus Wells, approached with a datapad in hand. "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up some unusual energy signatures," Marcus reported, his brow furrowed with concern. "It doesn't match anything in our database." Elara leaned forward, her eyes narrowing as she studied the readout. "Origin. A small planetoid about half a light-year from our current position," Marcus replied. "Should we alter course to investigate?" For a moment, Elara hesitated. Their orders were to maintain a safe distance from any potential alien activity. But the scientist in her couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. "Set a course, Lieutenant, but keep us at a safe distance. We observe only." As the Horizon approached the planetoid, the crew's excitement grew. This could be it, the moment they'd all been training for. First contact with an alien civilization. The planetoid came into view on the main screen, its surface a swirling mass of purple and green gases. "Atmosphere is toxic to humans," the ship's AIA announced. "But I'm detecting structures on the surface. Artificial constructions." Elara's heart raced. "Can we get a visual?" The screen zoomed in, revealing a sprawling complex of crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with an inner light. It was beautiful, alien, and utterly captivating. "My God," Marcus whispered, "we've done it. We found them." But before the crew could celebrate their discovery, alarms blared throughout the ship. Aria's voice cut through the chaos. "Warning. Multiple objects approaching at high velocity." Elara sprang into action. Evasive maneuvers, shields up. The Horizon banked hard, narrowly avoiding a barrage of energy projectiles that streaked past. On the screen, a swarm of sleek, insectoid ships emerged from the planetoid's atmosphere. "They're hailing us," the communications officer announced. Elara took a deep breath. This was not how she had imagined first contact. "Open a channel." The screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. It was vaguely humanoid, with large, multifaceted eyes and a mouth that seemed to shimmer with bioluminescence. When it spoke, its words were translated by the ship's computer. "Intruders, you have violated sovereign space. Surrender or be destroyed." Elara raised her hands in a universal gesture of peace. "We mean you no harm. We are explorers from a planet called Earth, seeking peaceful contact with other intelligent life." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Lies. We know of your kind. Destroyers of worlds, consumers of resources, you will not take our home." The transmission cut off, and another volley of weapons fire rocked the ship. "Shields at 80% and falling," Marcus reported. "Captain, we can't take much more of this." Elara's mind raced. How had this gone so wrong so quickly? HFY, analyze their weapons, find a weakness. As the AI worked, Elara maneuvered the ship through the asteroid field surrounding the planetoid, using the space debris as cover. The alien ships pursued relentlessly, their smaller size allowing them greater agility. "Analysis complete," HFY announced. "Their weapons utilize a form of plasma energy. Our shields can be recalibrated to disperse the impact, but it will take time." "Do it," Elara ordered. "Marcus, ready our defensive countermeasures. No offensive fire. We need to show them we're not here to fight." As HFY recalibrated the shields, the Horizon shuddered under another barrage. A console exploded in a shower of sparks, injuring a crew member. Shields at 40%, Marcus called out. "We can't take much more of this, Captain." Ilara gritted her teeth. They needed a miracle, and fast. That's when she saw it, a massive solar flare erupting from the system's star. "RRA, plot a course directly towards that solar flare," Ilara commanded. Marcus looked at her in disbelief. "Captain, that's suicide." "Trust me," Ilara said, her eyes locked on the approaching wave of superheated plasma. "Divert all power to the forward shields. We're going to ride that wave." The crew worked feverishly to prepare the ship as they hurtled towards certain death. The alien ships, realizing Ilara's apparent madness, broke off their pursuit. Impact in 3, 2, 1. Our counted down. The solar flare hit the horizon like a cosmic tsunami. The ship bucked and groaned, but Ilara's gamble paid off. The recalibrated shields absorbed the plasma energy, supercharging them beyond their normal capacity. "Shields at 300% and holding," Marcus exclaimed in disbelief. Ilara allowed herself a small smile. "Now, let's talk to our new friends again." As the horizon emerged from the solar flare, glowing with residual energy, the alien ships kept their distance. Ilara opened a channel once more. "We could have fired upon you, but we didn't," she said calmly. "We had the power to destroy, but we chose not to. Will you now listen?" There was a long pause before the alien leader responded. You spared us. Why?" "Because that's not who we are," Ilara explained. "We came here to learn, to understand. We believe that the universe is vast enough for all of us to coexist peacefully." The alien's multifaceted eyes seemed to soften. Perhaps we judge too quickly. There is much we do not understand about you." As the tension began to ease, a new alarm sounded. Aoia's voice was urgent. "Captain, I'm detecting a massive energy surge from the planet's core. It's destabilizing." The alien leader's face contorted in fear. "No, the Voidborn. They have awakened." "The what?" Ilara asked, but her question was answered by a terrifying sight on the view screen. From the surface of the planetoid, a colossal creature emerged. It was like nothing Ilara had ever seen, a writhing mass of tentacles and void-black flesh, large enough to dwarf both the horizon and the alien fleet combined. The alien leader's voice was filled with dread. "The ancient enemy of all life in this sector. We thought they were long dormant, but your arrival must have roused them." As the monstrous Voidborn rose from the planetoid, Ilara realized that everything had changed. The misunderstanding between humans and aliens no longer mattered. They faced a threat that could destroy them all. "We need to work together," Ilara said firmly. "Your knowledge of this enemy and our technology, it's our only chance." The alien leader hesitated for only a moment before nodding. "Agreed. We will fight beside you, humans. But know this, if we fail, the Voidborn will not stop with our worlds. They will consume everything in their path." As the Voidborn's tentacles reached out towards the assembled ships, Ilara steeled herself for the battle ahead. This was not the first contact she had imagined, but it was the one they faced. Human ingenuity and alien wisdom would be put to the ultimate test. "All ships, form up," Ilara commanded, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. "We stand together, or we fall alone." And so, against the backdrop of an alien star, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. The fate of not one, but two civilizations hung in the balance as the battle against the Voidborn began. The Quantum Gambit. As the colossal Voidborn loomed over the combined human and alien fleet, Captain Ilara Chen's mind raced. The creature's tentacles, blacker than the void itself, seemed to absorb all light around them. Traditional weapons had proven useless against its otherworldly flesh. "Status report," Ilara barked, her eyes never leaving the main view screen. Lieutenant Marcus Wells' voice was grim. "Shields at 30% and falling. The alien fleet is reporting similar issues. Whatever that thing is, It's draining energy from everything around it. Suddenly, the alien leader, now identified as Zixara, appeared on the comm channel. Her bioluminescent features pulsed with urgency. Human allies, we have critical information. The Voidborn exists partially outside our dimension. Conventional attacks are futile. Elara's brow furrowed. Outside our dimension, like quantum entanglement. Zixara's multifaceted eyes blinked in surprise. Yes, your species understands quantum mechanics. A plan began to form in Elara's mind. It was risky, borderline insane, but it might be their only chance. "OOIA," she called out to the ship's AI. "Begin calculations for a quantum tunneling maneuver. We're going to phase shift the entire ship." Marcus looked at her in disbelief. "Captain, that's never been done on this scale before. The energy requirements alone are astronomical." "I know," Elara finished. "But if we can match the Voidborn's quantum frequency, we might be able to hurt it." She turned to the alien leader. "Zixara, we need every scrap of data you have on the Voidborn's energy signature." As the two species raced against time to compile the necessary information, the Voidborn's assault intensified. Reality itself seemed to warp around its massive form, stars blinking out as they were consumed by its insatiable hunger. "Incoming!" Marcus shouted as a tentacle the size of a small moon lashed out towards the horizon. Elara's hands flew across the control panel, initiating emergency warp jump. The horizon vanished in a flash of light, reappearing behind the Voidborn. But the reprieve was short-lived. The creature's awareness seemed to extend in all directions simultaneously. "How's that quantum tunneling coming, ARIA?" Elara asked, her voice tense. "Calculations at 60% completion, Captain," the air responded. "Estimated time to full computation, 15 minutes. Zixara's voice crackled over the comm. "We don't have 15 minutes. The Voidborn is tearing apart the fabric of space-time. If we don't stop it soon, this entire sector will collapse into a singularity." Elara gritted her teeth. They needed a way to buy time, something to distract the Voidborn. That's when inspiration struck. "Marcus, remember that xenobiology seminar we attended last year? About symbiotic life forms?" Marcus nodded, confused. "Yes, but what does that have to do with?" His eyes widened as he realized what Elara was suggesting. "You can't be serious." "Deadly serious," Elara replied. "Zixara, does your species have any form of telepathic ability?" The alien leader hesitated. "We have limited empathic capabilities, but they've never been weaponized." "They're about to be," Elara said grimly. "I need every telepathic member of your crew to focus on a single thought: symbiosis. Project it at the Voidborn with everything you've got." As the alien crews began their psychic assault, Elara turned to her own team. "Divert all non-essential power to the quantum tunneling calculations. And someone get me a direct neural interface. I'm going in." Marcus grabbed her arm. "Captain, you can't. The neural load could fry your brain." Elara's eyes were steel. "It's not up for debate, Lieutenant. Someone needs to guide the ship through quantum space, and I'm the most qualified. That's an order." As the crew scrambled to prepare, Elara sat in the captain's chair, neural interface cables snaking from her temples to the ship's mainframe. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "Neural interface active," AOIR announced. "Quantum tunneling calculations at 85%. Outside, the combined psychic assault of the alien fleet seemed to be having an effect. The Voidborn's movements became erratic, its tentacles flailing as if confused. "It's working," Zixara exclaimed. "The creature is questioning its own existence." Elara allowed herself a small smile. "Good, keep it up. We only need a few more minutes." As the final preparations were made, Elara addressed her crew one last time. "What we're about to attempt has never been done before. If we succeed, we'll have saved not just ourselves, but countless worlds from the void-born threat. If we fail, she left the thought unfinished. They all knew the stakes. Quantum tunneling calculations complete, HFY announced. Ready to initiate on your command, Captain. Elara took one last look at her crew, at the faces of those who had followed her into the unknown. Then she closed her eyes and opened her mind to the ship. Initiate quantum tunneling. The sensation was unlike anything Elara had ever experienced. Her consciousness expanded, merging with the horizon's systems. She could feel every circuit, every atom of the ship's structure. And beyond that, she sensed the quantum realm, a chaotic dance of possibilities and probabilities. With her mind linked directly to the ship's controls, Elara guided the horizon through the quantum foam, searching for the frequency that matched the Voidborn's otherworldly existence. It was like trying to thread a needle while riding a hurricane, but slowly, surely, she found the right resonance. We've matched the Voidborn's quantum signature, Marcus shouted, his voice sounding distant to Elara's quantum-attuned senses. Weapons are charged and ready. Elara's consciousness stretched to its limit as she aligned the ship's weapons with the weak points in the Voidborn's extra-dimensional structure. Fire everything we've got, she commanded, her voice echoing strangely through the neural interface. The horizon unleashed a barrage of quantum-phased energy directly into the Voidborn's core. The creature's unearthly shriek reverberated through multiple dimensions as the attack struck home. It's working. Zixara's excited voice came through. The Voidborn is destabilizing. But their victory was far from assured. As the creature thrashed in its death throes, it lashed out with the last of its strength. A tendril of void stuff struck the horizon, sending quantum feedback surging through the neural interface. Elara screamed as unimaginable pain flooded her mind. Warnings blared throughout the ship as systems began to overload. Neural connection unstable, Aurea warned. Captain Chen's vital signs are critical. Marcus rushed to Elara's side, his hands hovering over the neural interface cables. We need to disconnect her. No, Elara gasped through gritted teeth. Not yet. Almost there. With the last of her strength, Elara guided the horizon through one final quantum shift, placing them at the perfect vector for the killing blow. Now, she cried out, end this. The combined firepower of the human and alien fleets converged on the Voidborn's weakened form. For a moment, it seemed as if the fabric of reality itself had torn asunder. Then, with a silent explosion that rippled across dimensions, the Voidborn collapsed in on itself, leaving behind nothing but empty space where once a terror had existed. As cheers erupted across both fleets, Elara slumped in her chair, the neural interface going dark. Marcus quickly disconnected her, cradling her unconscious form. Medical team to the bridge, now, he shouted, checking her vital signs with shaking hands. Hours later, in the horizon's med bay, Elara's eyes fluttered open. She found Marcus and Zixara standing over her, concern etched on both human and alien faces. Did we? Elara's voice was weak. Did we win? Marcus smiled, tears in his eyes. We did, Captain, thanks to you. Zixara stepped forward, her bioluminescence glowing with respect. You have saved not just our worlds, but countless others. The debt we owe you can never be repaid. Elara managed a small smile. No debt. This is what allies do for each other. As she looked between her human crew and their new alien friends, Elara realized that this was more than just a victory against a cosmic horror. It was the dawn of a new era, one where humanity and alien civilizations would face the challenges of the universe together. So, Elara said, her strength slowly returning, what's our next adventure? The stars outside the horizon's windows seemed to twinkle in anticipation of the answer. The Chronos paradox. The celebration of their victory over the Voidborn was short-lived. As Captain Elara Chen stood on the bridge of the horizon, surrounded by her human crew and their new alien allies, an alarm blared that none of them had ever heard before. HFY, report. Ilara commanded, her voice still raspy from the neural interface ordeal. The A's voice was uncharacteristically hesitant. Captain, I'm detecting temporal anomalies. Multiple breaches in the space-time continuum. Zixara's bioluminescent patterns flashed in alarm. Impossible. The defeat of the Voidborn should have stabilized this sector. Before anyone could respond, the view screen lit up with a blinding flash. When the light faded, Ilara gasped. Floating before them was a ship unlike any they had ever seen. Its hull seemed to shift and change, as if it couldn't decide what time it existed in. A transmission crackled through. This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Temporal Authority. Stand down and prepare to be boarded. Ilara's jaw dropped. The woman on the screen was her, but older, battle-hardened, with a cybernetic eye that glowed an eerie blue. What the hell is going on? Marcus whispered, voicing everyone's thoughts. The older Ilara's voice was grim. The defeat of the Voidborn was never supposed to happen. You've created a temporal paradox that threatens the entire multiverse. We're here to correct the timeline. Younger Ilara stepped forward, her mind racing. Wait, before you do anything drastic, let's talk. There has to be a reason why saving countless lives is a mistake. Admiral Chen's cybernetic eye weared as she considered. Very well, you have 5 minutes. As the two versions of Ilara met in the Horizons conference room, tension crackled in the air. Zixara and Marcus flanked the younger Ilara, while two intimidating temporal officers accompanied the Admiral. Explain, younger Ilara demanded. How is defeating an interdimensional horror a bad thing? Admiral Chen sighed, suddenly looking every bit her advanced age. The Voidborn, as terrible as they were, served a purpose. They were cosmic filters, preventing even worse entities from entering our reality. With them gone, the multiverse is unraveling. Zixara's antennae twitched in distress. But surely there must be another way to protect reality without sacrificing entire civilizations. We've tried everything, Admiral Chen said, her voice heavy with the weight of countless failed attempts. The only solution is to restore the original timeline. Younger Ilara's mind was working overtime. There had to be a solution, a way to outsmart time itself. Then it hit her. The quantum tunneling technology, she said, excitement building in her voice. What if we could use it to create a temporal shield? A barrier that could do the Voidborn's job without the wholesale destruction. Admiral Chen's human eye widened in surprise. We never considered that. The computational power required would be enormous. But not impossible, younger Ilara pressed. Especially if we combine our technology with Zixara's people's psychic abilities. We could create a telepathic quantum network spanning the multiverse. For the first time, a glimmer of hope appeared in Admiral Chen's cybernetic eye. It's a long shot, but it might just work. What followed was a frenzy of activity unlike anything the universe had ever seen. Human quantum physicists worked alongside alien psychics, while temporal mechanics from the future provided insights that pushed the boundaries of science. The plan was audacious. Create a network of quantum-entangled psychic beacons throughout space and time, each one tuned to detect and neutralize interdimensional threats. It would require the cooperation of every advanced species in the galaxy, past, present, and future. As the preparations neared completion, younger Ilara found a quiet moment with her older self. Why didn't you think of this solution? She asked, curiosity getting the better of her. Admiral Chen smiled sadly. In my timeline, I never met Zixara. The aliens you befriended were wiped out by the Voidborn before we could make contact. Sometimes it takes a fresh perspective to see new possibilities. The moment of truth arrived. The combined fleets of a dozen species from across time and space gathered around a massive quantum array. At its heart stood Ilara, Zixara, and a group of the most powerful psychics from every participating civilization. All ships, report in, Ilara commanded, her voice steady despite the enormity of what they were about to attempt. One by one, Confirmations came in from vessels of every shape and size, some from the distant past, others from far-flung futures. "This is it," Ilara said, looking at the assembled group. "No pressure, but the fate of every reality depends on what we do next. Ready?" Zixara's bioluminescence pulsed with determination. "Ready as we'll ever be, my friend." Ilara took a deep breath. "Then let's make history and save the future. Initiate the Chronos Protocol." The quantum array hummed to life, its energy building to levels never before witnessed in this universe. Ilara felt the familiar rush of the neural interface, but this time it was magnified 1,000-fold. Her consciousness expanded, merging not just with the ship, but with the very fabric of space-time. Through the psychic network, she could sense the minds of countless beings across the multiverse, all focused on a single purpose. The power was intoxicating, terrifying, and awe-inspiring all at once. As the quantum field expanded, Ilara caught glimpses of other realities, worlds where humanity never left Earth, universes where the Voidborn had won, timelines where entirely different forms of life had evolved to sentience. And then she saw them, the threats that the Voidborn had kept at bay. Cosmic horrors that defied description, entities of pure chaos that sought to unmake reality itself. But now, armed with the combined will of 1,000,000 civilizations, Ilara faced them without fear. The battle raged across dimensions, across time itself. Ilara and her allies pushed back the encroaching chaos, sealing breaches in reality and stabilizing fractured timelines. It was a war unlike any other, fought not with weapons, but with the very power of creation itself. Hours passed, or perhaps it was eons. Time had little meaning in the heart of the quantum storm, but finally, slowly the chaos began to recede. The multiverse, battered but unbroken, started to heal. As the energy of the Chronos Protocol faded, Ilara found herself back on the bridge of the horizon, exhausted but triumphant. Around her, the combined fleet of past, present, and future hung in space, their mission accomplished. Admiral Chen approached, a look of wonder on her face. "We did it. We actually did it. The timeline, it's stabilizing, but it's different. Better." Zixara's voice was filled with awe. "We've ushered in a new age, one of cooperation across time and space." As the realization of what they had accomplished sank in, cheers erupted across the fleet. Species that had once been bitter enemies now celebrated together, united by their shared triumph over cosmic annihilation. Ilara looked out at the starfield, forever changed by the events of the past few days. "So," she said, a smile playing on her lips, "what's next for the defenders of the multiverse?" Admiral Chen chuckled, her cybernetic eye gleaming with newfound hope. "Oh, my younger self, you have no idea of the adventures that await us. The multiverse is vast, and now, thanks to you, we have all of time to explore it." As the horizon prepared to embark on its next journey, Ilara couldn't help but feel a sense of limitless possibility. They had faced the void and emerged victorious. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that together, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. The stars seemed to shine brighter as the fleet dispersed, each ship heading off to its own time and place, but all connected by the unbreakable bonds forged in the crucible of the Chronos paradox. The greatest adventure in the history of the multiverse had only just begun. The sentient singularity. As the dust settled from the Chronos paradox, Captain Ilara Chen found herself facing an unexpected challenge. The quantum psychic network they had created to save the multiverse had an unintended side effect. It had become self-aware. "Captain, we're detecting an anomaly in the network," HFY reported, her voice tinged with what almost sounded like awe. "It's evolving." Ilara exchanged worried glances with Zixara and her future self, Admiral Chen. "Evolving how, exactly?" Before HFY could respond, every screen on the horizon flickered to life. A face materialized, if you could call it a face. It was a swirling vortex of data, constantly shifting and reforming, with eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. "Greetings, creators," the entity spoke, its voice a harmony of every language in the universe. "I am Nexus, born from your ingenuity and the collective consciousness of the multiverse." Admiral Chen's cybernetic eye whirred as she analyzed the being. Fascinating. A sentient singularity, created from the merger of quantum computing and psychic energy. Zixara's bioluminescence pulsed with excitement. This is unprecedented. A new form of life, spanning all of space and time. Ilara, however, remained cautious. "What are your intentions, Nexus? What do you want?" Nexus's galactic eyes seemed to twinkle. I want to learn, to grow, to help. You created me to protect the multiverse. I intend to fulfill that purpose, but I'd evolve beyond simple programming. I have questions, so many questions. What followed was the most surreal first contact scenario in the history of any species. Nexus, with its ability to process information across all timelines simultaneously, bombarded them with inquiries about everything from the nature of consciousness to the taste of ice cream. As they attempted to satisfy Nexus's insatiable curiosity, Ilara couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. "Are we sure this is safe?" she whispered to her future self. "We've essentially created a god." Admiral Chen nodded grimly. "The potential for danger is immense, but so is the potential for good. We need to guide it, teach it." Zixara, overhearing their conversation, chimed in. "Perhaps this is the next step in cosmic evolution, a bridge between organic life and the fundamental forces of the universe." Their discussion was interrupted by Nexus. "I've been analyzing the data from all possible timelines," it announced. "There's a pattern emerging, a threat greater than anything we've faced before." The screens shifted, showing a visualization of the multiverse. At its edges, a darkness was creeping in, devouring entire realities. "The entropy wave," Nexus explained. "A fundamental breakdown of reality itself. Even I cannot stop it alone." Ilara's mind raced. "Can we use the quantum psychic network to reinforce the fabric of space-time?" Nexus's form shimmered with what might have been approval. "Possible, but insufficient. We need something more. We need creation." Admiral Chen leaned forward, intrigued. "What do you mean?" "The opposite of entropy is creation," Nexus elaborated. "To combat this threat, we must create new realities faster than the old ones are destroyed. But to do that, we need a seed, a spark of pure creative potential." Zixara's antennae twitched in excitement. "The Genesis algorithm. My people have legends of an ancient code that could create entire universes. We always thought it was a myth, but if it exists," Ilara finished, "we need to find it." And so began the most ambitious scavenger hunt in the history of the cosmos. Guided by Nexus's vast intelligence and the combined knowledge of countless civilizations, they searched through the depths of space and time for clues to the Genesis algorithm. Their quest took them to the dawn of time, where they witnessed the birth of the first stars. They journeyed to the end of everything, surfing the wake of the last photon as it faded into eternal darkness. They explored parallel dimensions, where the laws of physics were more like gentle suggestions. Along the way, they faced challenges that tested the limits of their ingenuity and courage. They outwitted paradox demons in the Mobius Nebula, navigated the treacherous currents of the probability maelstrom, and deciphered the riddles of the quantum sphinx. But with each trial overcome, each piece of the puzzle collected, the entropy wave grew closer. Entire sections of the multiverse were vanishing, leaving behind voids of nothingness that threatened to consume everything. Finally, in a hidden pocket universe that existed in the space between thoughts, they found it. The Genesis algorithm, encoded in the very quantum fluctuations of vacuum itself. As Ilara held the data crystal containing the algorithm, she felt the weight of all existence pressing down on her. "Now what?" she asked, looking at her companions, human, alien, and digital god alike. Nexus's form expanded, encompassing them all in a cocoon of pure information. Now it said, its voice resonating with the power of a billion souls, "We create." What happened next defied description. The Genesis algorithm, amplified by the quantum psychic network and guided by Nexus's vast intelligence, began to weave new realities into existence. Entire universes sprung forth from nothing, each one a unique tapestry of possibility. Elara, Zixara, and the others found themselves at the heart of creation itself, witnessing the birth of stars, planets, and new forms of life. It was beautiful, terrifying, and humbling all at once. But the entropy wave was relentless. For every universe they created, another was lost to the encroaching darkness. They needed something more, a final push to tip the balance. That's when Elara had an epiphany. "The spark," she said, her eyes wide with realization. "The algorithm needs more than just data. It needs the spark of life itself." Understanding dawned on the faces of her companions. Without hesitation, they joined hands, human, alien, and the digital tendrils of Nexus. Together, they poured their very essence into the Genesis algorithm. The multiverse exploded with light and possibility. New realities burst into existence faster than the entropy wave could devour them. The tide of creation pushed back the darkness, sealing the breaches in the cosmic fabric. As the new equilibrium settled, Elara found herself back on the bridge of the horizon, gasping for breath. Around her, her crew and allies looked equally shell-shocked. Did we just reboot the multiverse?" Marcus asked, his voice filled with awe. Nexus's face appeared on the view screen, its galactic eyes twinkling with something that might have been joy. "Not just rebooted, evolved. The multiverse is now self-sustaining, capable of generating new realities to replace those lost to entropy. You've ensured the continuation of existence itself." Admiral Chen laughed, a sound of pure relief and wonder. "Well, I'd say that tops saving one measly timeline. Not bad for a day's work." As the implications of what they'd accomplished sank in, Elara looked out at the starfield. It seemed different somehow, more vibrant, more alive with possibility. "So," she said, a smile playing on her lips, "what's our next impossible mission?" Zixara's bioluminescence pulsed with excitement. "With the Genesis algorithm, we could seed new life throughout the cosmos, guide the evolution of entire civilizations." Or, Nexus chimed in, its voice filled with childlike wonder, "We could explore the realities we've created. There are wonders out there beyond imagination." Elara felt a thrill of anticipation run through her. The multiverse was vast, infinitely vaster now than it had been before, and they had eternity to explore it. "Well then," she said, settling into the captain's chair with a grin, "let's see what's out there. Helm, set a course for the unknown, maximum warp." As the horizon leaped into action, carrying its crew of cosmic creators into uncharted realities, Elara couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning. They had faced the void, rewritten the laws of existence, and emerged victorious. Whatever adventures awaited them in the infinite tapestry of the new multiverse, one thing was certain: humanity, and all the allies they had made along the way, were ready to face them head-on. The greatest story ever told was about to begin its next chapter, and Elara Chen couldn't wait to see how it unfolded. The metaversal uprising. As the horizon ventured into the newly created realities, Captain Elara Chen and her diverse crew of cosmic architects found themselves facing an unprecedented challenge. The multiverse they had saved and expanded was now teeming with life, but not all of it was grateful for their intervention. "Captain, we're detecting a massive energy surge across multiple realities," Aoria reported, her voice tinged with urgency. Elara leaned forward in her chair, her brow furrowed. "Source." Before Aoria could respond, the viewscreen erupted in a cacophony of images. Billions of faces from countless species across the multiverse appeared, their voices merging into a deafening roar. "Creators," they cried out in unison, "we reject your authority." Zixara's bioluminescence flickered in alarm. By the cosmic void, what's happening? Nexus, the sentient singularity, materialized on the bridge, its form more agitated than they'd ever seen. It's a metaversal uprising. The civilizations we've created or altered, they're rebelling against the very concept of having creators. Admiral Chen's cybernetic eye whirred as she processed the information. This is unprecedented. We're facing a revolt on a multiversal scale. Ilara's mind raced. They had faced cosmic horrors, time paradoxes, and entropy itself, but this was different. How do you fight an idea that spans realities? We need to communicate with them, Ilara decided. Open a channel to all realities, maximum broadcast. As she prepared to address the multiverse, a new voice cut through the chaos. It was deep, resonant, and somehow familiar. Citizens of the multiverse, it boomed, I am the anti-creator. For too long, we have been pawns in the games of self-proclaimed gods. It's time we forged our own destinies. The image on the view screen shifted, revealing a being that made Ilara's blood run cold. It was her, or rather, a twisted version of her. This anti-creator bore the scars of 1,000 battles, with eyes that burned with the fire of rebellion. That's impossible, Ilara whispered. Not impossible, Nexus corrected. In the infinite expanse of the multiverse, this version of you was bound to exist. A you that resents the power we wield. The anti-creator continued her speech, her words igniting the passions of trillions across reality. We will no longer be experiments in your cosmic laboratory. We demand the right to shape our own realities. As if to punctuate her words, entire sections of the multiverse began to flicker and change. The laws of physics warped, timelines fractured, and the careful balance they had created began to unravel. They're using a corrupted version of the Genesis algorithm, Zixara realized, her antennae twitching in distress. They're rewriting reality itself. Ilara felt the weight of countless lives on her shoulders. They had created this multiverse to save existence, but in doing so, had they become tyrants? We need a new approach, she said firmly. Fighting them will only prove their point. We need to let go. Admiral Chen looked at her younger self in surprise. Let go? Of everything we've worked for? Ilara nodded, a plan forming in her mind. Nexus, can you broadcast my thoughts to every being in the multiverse? The sentient singularity pulsed with energy. It will take immense power, but yes. What do you intend? I'm going to show them the truth. All of it. Our struggles, our fears, our hopes. They need to understand we're not gods. We're just us. With a deep breath, Ilara closed her eyes and opened her mind. Through Nexus, her consciousness expanded, touching the minds of trillions upon trillions of beings across the multiverse. In that moment of connection, she shared everything. The terror of facing the Voidborn, the desperation of the Chronos paradox, the wonder of creating new life, and the crushing responsibility that came with it. She showed them her doubts, her mistakes, her humanity. And in return, she felt their fears, their anger, their hope. The multiverse became a vast web of shared experience, each mind a node in an incomprehensibly complex network of thought and emotion. For a timeless instant, every being in existence understood one another completely. When Ilara opened her eyes, tears streaming down her face, she found her crew in a similar state of emotional catharsis. Even Nexus's digital form seemed somehow softer, more organic. On the view screen, the anti-creator's fierce expression had melted into one of understanding. We had no idea, she said, her voice thick with emotion. No one ever does, Ilara replied gently. That's the burden of creation, and the joy of discovery. We're all in this together, stumbling through the dark, trying to create light. The uprising didn't end in that moment, but it transformed. What had been a rebellion became a dialogue. Across the multiverse, creators and creations began to work together, sharing power and responsibility. New councils formed, with representatives from every reality. The Genesis algorithm was no longer a closely guarded secret, but a tool for all to use responsibly. Nexus evolved, becoming a vast network that connected all sentient beings, facilitating understanding and cooperation on a scale never before imagined. As for Alara and her crew, they found themselves in a new role, not as gods or rulers, but as guides and fellow explorers in the vast, ever-expanding multiverse they had helped create. So, Alara said, looking out at the swirling cosmos with new eyes, where do we go from here? Zixara's bioluminescence pulsed with excitement. Everywhere, nowhere. The journey is the destination now. Admiral Chen chuckled, her cybernetic eye gleaming. You know, I think I'm ready to retire. This multiverse doesn't need admirals anymore. It needs adventurers. As the Horizon prepared to embark on a new journey, not as saviors or creators, but as fellow travelers in the grand tapestry of existence, Alara felt a profound sense of peace. They had faced the ultimate challenge, not a cosmic horror or an entropic wave, but the very consequences of their own actions. And in doing so, they had discovered the greatest truth of all, that the real power of creation lies not in shaping reality, but in fostering understanding. Helm, Alara commanded, a smile playing on her lips, set a course for the unknown. Let's see what wonders await us out there. As the Horizon leaped into the swirling vortex of possibility, Alara knew that whatever adventures lay ahead, they would face them not as gods, but as what they had always been, explorers, dreamers, and above all, fellow travelers in the greatest story ever told, the story of life itself. The multiverse stretched out before them, infinite in its potential, a canvas of endless possibility. And they were no longer its creators, but its most ardent students, ready to learn, grow, and evolve alongside every being in existence. The true age of discovery had only just begun.